Climate change is a real and important threat to the livelihoods and sustainable development of Pacific people. Here in the Pacific, changes are threatening the very existence of some islands. All Pacific islands now find themselves at the front line of a global struggle to cope with the challenges of climate change. The Global Climate Change Alliance Pacific Small Island States project has since 2012 been assisting 9 smaller Pacific Island countries, namely Cook Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, Kiribati, Marshall Islands, Nauru, Niue, Palau, Tonga and Tuvalu in their efforts to tackle the adverse effects of climate change. Funded by the European Union and implemented by the Secretariat of the Pacific Community (SPC), the project aims to build resilience in the areas of food and water security, marine resources, health and coastal protection, and benefiting more than 100,000 people. The project is assisting the countries to design and implement practical, on-the-ground climate change adaptation projects, whilst at the same time building national capacity to cope with existing and future challenges. The 9 countries have implemented specific climate change adaptation interventions, which creates ownership and is at the center of approach.
GCCA project has come in using a system that is very conducive to the current systems we have in country. And so when it comes to technical assistance from the GCCA project, it's been a remarkable journey that has allowed us in the climate change department, as well as at the grassroots level, to see what working together at the national level, at the community level, can produce.
These demonstration projects are then enhanced by embedding climate change into government's planning and budgeting, a process known as mainstreaming.
The Global Climate Change Alliance project, of course, it assists with the building of the community, and also the institutional experience and knowledge in addressing the coastal management issues. One of the critical aspects of this project is the engagement of the community. Right from the beginning, from the planning phase, the designing phase, and even up to the actual implementation, and even to the monitoring of the success of the projects. Community, the engagement and the direct involvement of the community is really, really important.
Working with countries to develop national climate change policies with prioritized action plans lays a strong foundation for future climate change work. The consideration of climate change impacts in long-term planning and policies is necessary for adapting successfully to climate change in the islands.
First time at the national level, we've convened input from various stakeholders to develop a climate change policy. This policy was developed over a 2-year period, maybe even longer than that, with extensive consultations, government agencies, communities, private sector, and individuals. By the end of that consultation, we were able to not only provide a sort of direction for how to move forward with our climate change how to address climate change impacts presently as well as in the years to come. In addition to helping us to address climate change impacts, the policy also helps us by providing guidance and targets on how to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions.
Partnerships between organizations and between countries through South-South cooperation has helped the effective implementation of the project.
We all talk about donor collaboration, but sometimes it's so hard to make it happen, and sometimes it falls to the country, as it has here, to actually make that happen. And it's all due to the hard work of government and others here in Niue, who first of all had the idea to make that happen. Instead of 3 separate projects, let's do one properly and cover every household in Niue. I think this is just an example that we need to show to the rest of the Pacific for several years ahead that it can be done.
Partnerships targeting activities for specific groups such as women have been beneficial.
Ngā lue māua whamalohirohi mā whaitino te whtai au kato mā whiawhi. Ia te au ngā hoke te whātoanga, e au ngā afuanga la kau mo te mtou ka ainga, e whai kei mtou mea kai, pēla mo whakamataranga te kautwe o te health, whai mai e tau atu mea kai pāreni. Te e whene māua whātoanga e au ngā atu mo te mtou ka ainga mea kona. Hade mā whātoanga nei, tēne koe whakawhau nei, whātoa atu nei fuane tau.
The implementation of projects in the outer islands is usually met by challenges such as transportation. These include shipping delays, unavailability of cargo boats, sporadic passenger schedules, challenging port facilities or absence of ports, lengthy travel time to outer islands, high shipping costs, and the likelihood of long recovery times after natural disasters. In many outer islands, there are many young and elderly people, as many of the youth have migrated to other countries. Residents in the outer islands are not just recipients, but they are also contributors, providing significant non-monetary input to projects. Hence, it is important to note that indicators for assessing project success in outer islands need to be specially designed. This should include an in-depth understanding of how outer islands work, particularly that economies are largely subsistence-based with few income earners.
In Toby, it started to have drought for the past 3 months. We have wells on the island, but it's brackish water. For drinking, people depend on coconut. We're really thankful to the European Union to give us tanks that can hold we can stretch that water in there for a year if we really conserve the water.
In Tonga, as a result of the project, different ministries are working together in a collaborative manner.
There is an improvement in the relationship and our partnership with Ministry of Finance. We now get to understand, have a common understanding now that they are the experts in the area of financing, and climate change we are the expert. We've got the technical experts on climate change.
Cook Islands is leading the other 9 countries in applying for national accreditation to the Adaptation Fund.
The Cook Islands had received technical assistance from the project to help us to develop an application to become a national implementing entity. And what this essentially means is that once we are accredited to the Adaptation Fund, then we can apply directly for funding.
Training on proposal preparation using the logical framework approach has helped build capacity in moving from the project level to the national level.
Regarding how it has assisted me deal in the area of Reach True Reef projects, mitigating the issues we're facing with climate change. The training, the LFA training, really has provided bite sizes, processes that guided me how I can link from the project itself to the national goals, how best to provide practical and consistent steps of addressing the issue.
Training participants noted that involving governments, NGOs, private sector representatives, community leaders, youth and women in the training has been one of the key successes. Seeking to build the resilience of communities rather than increasing the reliance on projects is a primary goal. Education and awareness programs need to be relevant, innovative, and always in the local language. Training in water supply, sanitation and hygiene, or WASH in Nauru, has been very relevant and timely to the communities.
The training is, I think it's relevant. It is very relevant to what we around the community, like the issues surrounding health. Sometimes we have outbreaks with young children and in the general population, in the public, with outbreaks of sicknesses such as diarrhea and other water-related sicknesses.
Solar disinfection of water, or SORDIS in Kiribati, has been very successful. SORDIS is a method of disinfecting contaminated drinking water by exposing it to the sun in clear bottles on a reflective surface. The method has been scientifically researched and trialed in communities in Kiribati, and the rate of uptake has been very high. Learning by doing is one of the tried and tested ways to share information and learn about new concepts. Creating and maintaining up-to-date databases are important to share and apply the lessons learned. The extreme vulnerability of Pacific Island countries and territories to the impacts of climate change makes climate change adaptation an essential component of a nation's forward planning. Improving the lives of Pacific people as they cope with the challenges of climate change remains at the center of our work. There are unique opportunities for sharing experiences and expertise among Pacific neighbors. The EU-funded GCCA PSIS project is among the activities that help strengthen the climate change adaptation capacity of the Pacific Island region.